Okay, so the enemy of action is perfection. And over the years, psychologists have spoken about cognitive distortions. And one of these distortions would be the all or nothing principle. So it's perfection or nothing. And no matter what you do in your life or in business, is if you don't get that perfect result, you're going to see it as being a failure. Now, a lot of this stuff can be, it's either 100% or it's nothing. And it's the outlook of people then is they're either a good person or a bad person. There's no middle ground. And really, we kind of spoke about this before about there's a happy medium, there's a balance here. So it's not take your foot off the gas and just settle for second best. But there's times where we can, and I've kind of mentioned before in other phases, where we give ourselves these amazing goals. And we sit down at a conference, or we sit down after watching a video on YouTube or speaking to someone who's successful, and they tell you to put down your goals. They tell you to go for broke, do everything, and get big goals that mean the world to you. What's your why? And we try and put down these goals, and we say, right, we get all excited. The 5-year plan, I want to have a 90-day plan, 2-year plan, whatever it is, yeah. And we get overexcited, and we say, right, I'm going to do this in the next 6 months. I'm going to do this and do this. And then as soon as we start to hit those pitfalls, we see ourselves as a failure. So we pack it in. Now, I'm not saying don't have big goals, because obviously to create momentum, to have that drive, that fire burning, you want to achieve and you want to reach a certain level in your life, in your business, your relationship. Now remember, this can be with how you relate to your kids, how you relate to your partner, how you relate to other people. It's not just about trying to get to a certain level in a company or a certain amount of money in per month. This can be about being a better person. So if you have a goal to self-develop, to upskill on life skills, on becoming more of a life leader, more of a balanced person. So we can think about it in more of a pragmatic way, which is what this phase is all about. So while we can set ourselves these targets, the all or nothing principle can really have a detrimental effect on us, and that can lead to anxiety and depression. Because if you're an all or nothing person, you're going to experience failure, and you're going to emotionally react to it so much more and in such a strong way compared to somebody who's a little bit more pragmatic and says, okay, I can take the bad with the good, or the good with the bad, whatever way it works, okay? And if you strive to get to a certain level and you don't get to the very top, you don't get to the pinnacle, but you climb that ladder, say in a job, for example, in a career, that can be satisfying. There can be so much learned on the journey to get to that position that you're in. Whereas people who go for the all or nothing lifestyle, all they see is the top. All they see is the top of the mountain. It's like you start at the bottom of a hike and all you can see is that summit, and you want to get to that top, you want to get to that peak, no matter what it is. And you just put the head down and you power on. You get through everything and you get to the top. Granted, this might be a nice view, okay? But what have you experienced along the way? And that's the same with life, that's the same with everything. It's the journey to get there is where you learn. So as you reach for these things, always have these little points along the way. Waypoints, okay, rendezvous, whatever you want to call them, where you actually stop and take stock of what's happening. And when you get to a certain level, it's not, okay, I'm happy enough, I've got halfway, I'll be pragmatic and that's all I'm good enough for, I'll sit back and poor me. That's not what it is. If that's the way you're thinking, you're not getting the message. I'll try and put it in a more simple way. Yes, aim for the top, aim for the stars, but always have the pragmatic approach where you can learn from the journey and you can be happy with a level that you achieve. If in here you know there's more to give and you can go further, that's totally up to you. That's down to you as a person. I can't tell you that. But what I can say is, if you're the all or nothing person who all they focus on is that pinnacle at the top, you're going to miss the journey. You're going to miss the opportunities along the way. You're going to miss reaching a point where you're satisfied and happy with, because you react differently. Because when you don't get to that top and you fail, you're a failure. That's it, you've nothing. Be pragmatic. You have something, a journey, and you have an achievement. Guys, get after, have a great one. We'll be back tomorrow.